Yo, what's going on, you guys, and welcome back to the Anime Plus podcast. This is your podcast for everything anime and anime related. And today's episode is another news edition episode where we're going over this week's anime news, sometimes manga, gaming, and entertainment. But this is a pretty solid week of anime news. We got some fun stories, we got some weird ones, and honestly, bro, it's just another typical week. So with that being said, if this is your first time here, I'm your boy Aray, and I'm with my co-host Own, who is currently doing 90 on the highway, bro. How you doing, bro?
Bro, I'm doing good, bro. I'm behind your brother. Easy right now. We are moving. Um, I still got 2.5 hours home, so
Mhm.
this is about to be a nice, relaxing pod.
Yes, sir. All right, bro. So as always, we're gonna start it off with a more entertaining story. So this one is actually kind of cool. We're gonna be talking a little bit more about this in the episode after this. We're gonna talk about baseball. The Red Sox had the One Piece Day, but we're gonna start off with this particular story. So Shohei Ohtani, who is the biggest Japanese baseball star out of Japan, pretty much ever, he had a walk-up song, and every single player when they go up to bat, they have a walk-up song. And usually they typically choose their own songs. This particular night, they had a woman's night. So the team let their wives, girlfriends, whoever choose their walk-up song. So Shohei Ohtani's wife chose the Sailor Moon's anime's opening theme song as his walk-up song.
Bro, that's sick, bro. Isn't he like the GOAT of baseball?
A lot of people say, yeah, he's won back-to-back MVPs, I believe. So he's just up there.
How is his build?
Dude, he's a big dude, bro. I mean, he set like a home run record last season, so he's nice with it.
Holy shit, bro. Out of Japan, coming in, violating. That's amazing. And I saw like a picture. That's what I'm saying. Like, how tall is he?
I couldn't tell you, but he's probably over 6 if I had to guess. I mean, he's a big guy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I always like thought Japanese people were a bit smaller, but this guy defies all of that shit because
Dog, he's 6'4".
he's 6'4",
He's a
dude,
monster.
massive, freaking. He's probably fast as shit. Hits the ball like super hard,
Hmm.
and damn, bro, the fact that his his intro music is Sailor Moon, that's funny as hell, bro.
Yeah, no, his wife just chose it for him. But like a fun fact about that, this was his first home run as a dad.
Oh shit, bro,
Yeah.
congrats, that dude.
I don't know if it was that, like, obviously that walk-up song would probably be played for that entirety of that night. So dude's first home run as his dad was him walking up to a Sailor Moon opening. I think that's kind of crazy.
Damn, bro. What team is he on?
He's on the LA Dodgers.
Does anyone else have an anime like type of theme song, or is it just him?
I'm sure there's some others. Like we yesterday when we went to the game, we heard that TikTok trend. So I'm assuming that like players can choose it whenever they want and change it.
Damn.
But as far as I know, because I don't watch a shit ton of baseball, this is the only one that I know of.
So so when you say intro song, right? When when are they playing this?
Yeah, so like when a batter comes up to bat.
Yeah.
So let's say one batter, he strikes out. The next one comes up. Then as soon as he comes up, they have their own song. So yesterday we heard a lot of Hispanic music, remember?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That was when these batters were coming up. So his when he came
Oh,
up was that Sailor Moon opening.
that's what it is. Oh,
Yeah.
because like I'm like, because when we're at a basketball game, you just hear random music, right? And you hear like
Yeah.
random noises. So I thought it was the same thing where like it was just random music or random noises that they were just playing based on whatever was happening. But this is everyone's intro. That's pretty sick.
Yeah. It's sick. Everyone has their own. I know like they didn't have this when I used to play baseball, but I know I've seen a lot of clips of like Little League baseball, younger kids. They have their own intro songs too. So it's kind of cool that it's carrying on, but this is something that they do every team does.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, do you have you heard the song and do you like it?
I don't know which one it was. I did see the clip though, so I thought it was pretty cool.
What would your anime intro song be?
Bro, it's got to be the either the drums of liberation or that dun 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 from One Piece.
Oh, bro, if someone had that as their song, like yeah, go on.
And that's what I was saying, bro. Like that would go so hard. Like you'd be hyped up before you go for your up bat.
Bro, that would be sick coming in with that One Piece hype music.
Right.
Hell yeah. But yeah, let's get on to the next one.
All right. So again, just touching up on the whole One Piece day at the Red Sox. The news is Luffy is there to throw the first pitch, which we actually ended up going. So before we actually put this episode together, we hadn't gone yet. So just looking back, we were hoping that it was going to be Inaki Godoy, the live action actor, but it turns out it was just like inflatable costume. But nonetheless, it's still pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, we went yesterday. That shit was sick. Um, so many One Piece fans. We have an episode dedicated for this week for this event. So I don't want to rush too much on this. It was a
Yeah.
sick event. But if you want to learn more, definitely go to that episode. Aray, when's it coming out?
Comes on Thursday.
Yeah, so if you're hearing this on Tuesday, that episode comes out on Thursday. So definitely go tune in and we talk heavily about the whole talk going on over there. So definitely give it a listen if you're interested.
Yeah. Can you say that one more time? The mic just cut out. Just the
Yeah,
last part.
so if you guys are interested in hearing our thoughts on the One Piece X Red Sox Day collab, we were actually there, me, A-Ray, and a couple others. We actually have a special guest on that podcast too, so definitely tune in. And yeah, we go in depth on our experience there and the merch, everything, pretty much the game itself.
Yes, sir. All right, let's get on to the next one. All right, bro. So we're gonna be talking about the beginning after the end, otherwise known as T-bait. We had the whole controversial thing where the anime is very heavily disappointing to a lot of different people. But we're not gonna be talking about that. We're gonna be talking about some good news regarding T-bait. So what they're doing is they're getting together a Kickstarter campaign for the web novel. So now we're gonna be able to get a print run. So this is something that a lot of fans have been very excited for, especially because the anime has not been up to their standards. So, it's not all doom and gloom for T-Bait fans. So there's at least a Kickstarter campaign for that. And if all things go according to plan, we'll be able to get a print run for the series.
Bro, that's sick. I mean, Kickstarter is like the perfect platform for like anime because obviously, like you need fans, right? You need people to back your Kickstarter, but it's
Mhm.
perfect because T-Bait already has such a big audience, and out of the people that actually want this, hardback cover or whatever novel that they're making,
Mhm.
um, you could go in and you can actually um get it early. I know some of the way Kickstarter incentivizes people to invest per se is by giving them early access and shit. So if you guys are huge T-Bait fans and do want early access and stuff like that, definitely go check that out. It'll be sick.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this series is just absolutely massive, and with a anime that's disappointing, like this is the perfect avenue for people that are still loving the series, but I just not been vibing with the anime. So there's a good potential of a great outcome here. All
Yeah.
right, you want to
Is
move
this
on?
something that you're gonna? Have you watched T-Bait or not?
Yeah, I'm still watching it weekly. There's about 4 or 5 episodes out so far, and it's not the best, but I still like the series. Like I've read the entire webtoon, and I'm up to date with it, so I've been loving it. So I'm just hoping for either a better anime production for the next season, or I'm just hoping for. I mean, maybe I'll cop a couple of the print run.
What do you not like about this season so far?
It's mostly just animation, bro.
Sheesh. Okay,
Yeah.
bro. I saw your collection at your house, bro.
Yeah.
That shit was sick.
I'm working on it, bro. I was talking to one of my boys, and he does something where he just grabs the first volume of all the series he really likes. I think I'm starting to gear towards that because I can't have all of it. You know what I'm saying?
That makes sense, bro. That makes sense, and you have a little piece of everything, which is great.
Yeah, yeah. It's just kind of some like eye candy, bro. It's just something I like to look at. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That blue lock one that you had was insane.
Yeah. Shout out to the Cubs for that.
Hell yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next one.
Yep.
All right, bro. This is a cool story, bro, and it's something that I'm excited for, a little scared about, but I really want to hear your opinions on it. So, South Korea announced that they're doing a 5-year plan to boost the animation industry. So they're expected to aim to expand their industry by 100 million US dollars by 2029. They're planning to honestly they're like the end point is they're trying to make an anime industry essentially, or like an animation industry, probably seeing all the success that their webtoons have and seeing that the Japanese market is really capitalizing on it. They're probably seeing it and be like, yo, we could probably capitalize on it too, because a lot of their stories, webtoons, are making great anime. They're making great live action adaptations. So essentially what they're trying to do is their key initiatives are to like expand their industry investment, diversify content distribution, cultivate specialized talent, and support overseas expansion. So again, they're just trying to boost their economy, their animation industry, and just the pathway is there for them to do that.
I mean, it makes sense, right? They come up with the content itself, which is honestly, I would say, is the hard part, right?
Hmm.
I don't know too much about animation and how that stuff works, but coming up with an idea of a story is definitely hard. And the fact is that they've already made webtoons on it, so it's just a matter of making those pictures into movement, essentially. So might as well, instead of having Japan capitalize on that, because bro, solo leveling, huge capitalization there. And
Exactly.
if South Korea capitalized on that, that'd be huge for them generally.
Yeah. The other thing is the demand for these webtoons to be created as anime is just absolutely insane. So this is definitely the way, like this is a smart plan by them. You know what I mean? Like you can't let another country take take all the profitability from this industry that you're essentially in. You know what I mean? So it makes total sense.
Exactly. It's like it's like putting in all the work and allowing them to just throw it out, which is yeah.
Yeah. So I guess where I'm kind of concerned about or I'm relatively worried about is two things. Essentially, one, they announced that they're trying to do like they're trying to support AI-based video content production and distribution.
Oh
I
shit.
I don't know what that means. I don't know if they're going to use AI to like I don't know, take care of some of the core competencies, or if they're planning to do it like video production. That part scared me if they're using it for animation. I don't know, bro. And then the second thing is I love my Japanese voice acting. Like I feel like it's so much better when I watch it there. Like I prefer that over dub, and then I'm pretty sure I would prefer over like Korean dub as well. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's another thing that I'd be missing out on. And then also Japan has the know-how, the industry know-how to do everything the right way and the way we really expect it. So I'd be worried that like I'm not saying that South Korea would completely mess things up, but like if something's working, I'd be happy the way it is. But obviously I do want the animations and all the people that like come out of South Korea creating these series, obviously I want them to get their due respect, but it's just like I like to see certain things done a certain way.
Yeah, for sure. And I mean, honestly, what I would do at South Korea is whoever made solo leveling, I would just try acquiring them. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
don't reinvent the wheel here. Just whatever you know is successful, just grab their shit. To be honest,
Hmm.
and then in the long run, it'll hopefully be fruitful because you won't run into the issue of them not knowing how to do it
Yeah.
per se. Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah. It's something that this is a 5-year plan, so it's not going to happen overnight.
but I definitely do. I think it's a step in the right direction, and I think Korea, South Korea, definitely it deserves the recognition because they make such crazy stories for us and um, such exciting adventures. But then Japan just gets the credit because it's an anime. You know,
Right. All right. Let's move
like
on.
I guarantee most people think that like if they're not like in tune with webtoons,
Yeah.
they think that it's a Japanese made.
Yeah, exactly. Nobody really knows. Like if you're not that crazy. Like if you ask anyone, like, yo, that's not too much into it in the industry. If you ask them, like, yo, Soul Leveling, bro, like, what do you think about it? Where is it from? They're probably like, yo, it's a manga, bro. You know what I mean? Not knowing that's originally a webtoon.
Exactly, exactly.
All right, let's move on to the next one.
Yep.
So again, this is a little bit of what we were talking about earlier, where there's a small collab between webtoons, which obviously come from South Korea, and AI. This time around, I think it's more harmless than it is harmful. What's happening is Naver Webtoons is releasing an AI chatbot for webtoon characters. So if you go onto the app, you can reportedly access these chatbots and talk to characters that are now AI. So this is actually working out in terms of people are going back to the apps, people are revisiting the apps and talking to these characters that are based off these series. So in a way, it's a good for them, and it's not like AI is being used in a weird way where it can harm the industry. I feel like it's kind of a cool way for them to use it.
Yeah, I think in this scenario, AI is being used in a way where it just makes it more personalized and personable for each and every viewer. If they really want to, speak to Luffy, they want to speak to Zoro, they want to speak to whoever, you'll have an AI version of it. Obviously, it's not the real thing, right? Then again, you have to understand that these characters aren't real characters, right?
Right.
This is the closest you'll ever get because it'll learn based on how how Luffy or Zoro or whoever would respond in the anime, and they would respond in the same way in real life. So if you're trying to get advice from Jinbei, if you're trying to get I don't know, you're trying to learn the workouts from Zoro, whatever it may be,
Yeah.
um, you can do that, and it'll be personalized as fuck. That's how I see it.
No, I feel you, bro. I feel you. It's I don't know, man. Maybe I don't even know if this app is available in the US, but I might have to download it just to check it out. I feel like it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next story. All right, so last week we talked about how Aoashi is supposedly getting a second season, and this was kind of a leaked report per se. It's finally getting 100% confirmed, before we saw it in the magazine, but now it is officially announced for 2026. Now the problem is they're switching over their production anime production studio. So previously it was Production IG, and now they're switching over to TMS Entertainment. I don't think that TMS Entertainment is bad per se, but sometimes when a studio switches over, a lot of things change with the vibe of the show, and sometimes the quality gets worse. For example, when One Punch Man switched over, like there was a lot of controversy with that. They went from Madhouse to JC Staff, and a lot of people hated that. Attack on Titan was another one where they went from Wit Studio to Mappa. That was another one where people weren't really happy with it. So, it's just one of those things where you worry about it until you don't have to worry about it and until the season comes out. But me personally, bro, Awashi is awesome, bro. I don't think that they could really mess up the animation that badly unless it turns into a Blue Lock situation where the animation is just so frame by frame. But at the end of the day, I love the story of the series, so I personally don't mind, but I know a lot of people do mind.
Yeah. I agree with you completely on that. But yeah, let's move on to the next one, brother.
Yes, sir. All right, so next up we got a new anime that is getting adapted. It is called Roll Over and Die. This is originally a manga that is getting adapted into a TV anime. We don't know exactly when it's coming out, but I can read you the synopsis and you let me know what you think.
Okay.
Okay. Flum Apricot was never meant to be a hero. Despite stats that were zeros across the board and a power she can't even use, she somehow finds herself a member of a party of heroes. But Flum's life hits rock bottom when the party's renowned sage, Jean Intige, decides that the useless girl is dead weight and arranges to have her sold into slavery. Damn. Toss
What the fuck?
it still goes, ready? Tossed to monsters to be feasted upon for her master's entertainment, Flum makes a desperate choice to reach for her cursed weapon, and something new awakens within her. A grim, dark tale about one woman's blood-soaked quest to reclaim her life.
Holy shit. What do you think about this?
I think it's fire, bro. Yo, she got sold to slaves, and then the master just like feeds her to monsters. I don't know, bro. I kind of like it, bro.
Okay. So because I was driving, I didn't hear the end part. So okay, so she got sold as a slave, right? And then
Yeah.
what?
And then her master is like trying to feed her to monsters for his entertainment.
What the fuck is going on, bro?
Yeah, she got fucked over, bro.
Holy shit, bro. Um, and I'm assuming she tries her hardest not to get eaten.
Yeah, so I'm assuming so it says at the end that like it's a tale about like her blood-soaked quest to reclaim her life. This has a potential to be a badass revenge story.
Yeah, bro. If she tees up and freaking gets a lot stronger,
Hmm.
doesn't let these monsters eat her up, that's the story within itself. So I like that.
Yeah, honestly, bro, I might give this one a watch, bro. I don't know if I love the artwork on this, not the artwork, the promotional pictures, because like it looks very opposite of what we just read. But I don't know, man. I'll definitely check this out.
It's honestly a cool concept that realistically I've almost never heard before. So
Hmm.
yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next one.
Yep.
All right, so we got a couple of bad news regarding two series. We'll talk about the first one first. So Baki Rahen, the manga, is going on hiatus until May 15th. So that's for 2 issues, 2 weeks. It's not getting a new chapter. We don't know exactly why, unfortunately, but it's just not coming back for 2 weeks at least.
2 weeks isn't bad.
Yeah, yeah. I wouldn't be too worried about it, especially if they didn't announce like, oh, it's because of the author's health or anything like that. So I'm not too worried, but we'll just have to wait and see.
Like One Piece was just on a freaking hiatus for how long?
Yeah, 6 months for the anime.
Months, bro. Like that's a long time.
Mhm.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next one. So the
Yep.
next series that's on hiatus is called Fly Me to the Moon. The manga for this series is also going on hiatus. Unfortunately for this one, we don't know when it's coming back. So it's not like 2 weeks it comes back. It could be forever, or it could be for a couple of weeks, couple of months. Remember when Freeran had the same situation where we didn't know when it was coming back and it was like a month or so? It could go down that route, or it could be like a Hunter x Hunter where it's just like one chapter a year or something like that. So this is always the worst case scenario, in my opinion, not knowing when it comes back.
Do we know why?
We don't know why. They haven't said it yet. Typically, if they don't announce it right away, it might be something else. Like it might be the author gets sick, and then they want to like wait a little bit and see how the author is feeling before announcing it. But I don't know, man. I couldn't tell you for sure.
Damn, bro. Hopefully, I mean it comes back pretty quick. Definitely don't want it to be like a Hunter x Hunter situation where like
Yeah,
that never comes back type. But I do hope you know, they figure out whatever they need to figure out and we get it back soon.
yes, sir. Let's move on to the next one. The next one is a cool collab. It is a collab with Gundam and Umbrellas. So this one's cool because Gundam is that whole mecha anime stuff where they have like those giant robots. So these umbrellas that they're coming out with are actually in the shape of a shield. So they look sick, bro. There's like 5 or 6 of them and they look like a shield. Imagine an umbrella that's a shield. It looks sick.
Bro, that is sick. I can't even lie.
Yeah,
I
me,
like the covers they come into.
yeah.
They're like team based or character based, whatever. I don't watch Gundam, so I don't know. But imagine they're like metal, like umbrellas.
Dude, that would go hard, bro. I know me and you personally aren't Gundam fans, but these are sick.
Yeah, I mean, even though I'm not a Gundam fan, the umbrellas themselves look gas. So
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's move on to the next one. Oh, and by the way, they're about $50, which isn't it's a lot for an umbrella, but for this collab, it's not too bad.
yeah, right. $50 for $50 for an umbrella is a lot, but like you're not paying for the umbrella, you're paying for the cloud.
Right. All right. And you're paying for a shield, Loki.
Like, yeah.
All right, let's move on to the next one. All right, bro. So a little bit of a Kagura Bachi update with the manga. So obviously this is a series that popped off maybe 2, 3 chapters after its initial release. There was already talks about it getting an anime, which usually don't happen until at least chapter 50 and mostly after chapter 100, which by the way, I don't even think it's around there yet. And we did have a small leakage that it is getting an anime some point in time. But we're talking about total copies in circulation. It just reached 2.2 million copies in circulation, which relatively speaking is a decent amount. It's still, in my opinion, not a lot. Like, for example, like we talk about the 100 million club a lot, where certain series have reached 100 million, where it's like My Hero, JJK, Demon Slayer, One Piece, and that's about it for what's going on right now. But this is only 2 million in retrospect. But still, this is still a newer series, so 2.2 million is still a pretty good feat. It's good, it's good, man. And a lot of people are hoping that this becomes the next new battle shonen anime. So I'm kind of hoping that we get more sales in this and the series really pops off because it's been a minute since we watched the Fire Battle Shonen.
Facts, bro. We need some nice, new, crispy, um, shonen to watch, bro. We don't Soul Leveling just ended. We need not ended, well, obviously. Season just ended, so we need something to get in the mix over here, bro.
Right. All right. You want to move on to the next one?
Get it?
All right. This one's kind of a random story, bro, but I figured I'd throw this one in anyways. So Oshinoko had an April Fool's joke where Kana Arima, which is one of the characters in the series, became a bell pepper ambassador. I haven't watched the second season, but I'm assuming that maybe in the second season she dressed up as a bell pepper or something like that. It turns out that April Fool's joke is no longer a joke, it's actually happening. So Oshinoko is collabing with with I don't know if it's a bell pepper company or something like that. Yes, with the brand Green Source bell pepper. So they're collabing, and it's kind of like a funny collab because it started off as an April Fool's joke, and now it's like a character from the series is collabing with a green pepper company. It's just weird but funny at the same time.
That is so weird, bro. I like. How is that beneficial to the bell? The freaking what? How is that at all beneficial to the bell pepper company? I don't
It
understand.
makes sense because Oshinoko is huge, bro. So like somebody might see like, yo, that character is associated with this green pepper company, bro. Like maybe we should cop these bell peppers instead.
Bro, when you go to the grocery store and you see a bell pepper and you
I
see
mean,
another bell pepper, you're
yeah,
picking up whatever the first bell pepper you're seeing, bro.
bro. So I get what you're saying, but if they have a picture of this character there, I'm like, oh shit, it's an anime green pepper. I might as well pick this one up.
Dude, okay.
Yeah, I don't know how much sway that this is gonna have, but I just think it's kind of a cool story.
Like I get it in other industries, the bell peppers, bro. What the
Oh
fuck?
man. All right, let's move on to the last and final story of today. So this other series that is getting a second season is called "'Tis Time for Torture Princess." Second season comes out in January 2026. I can read the synopsis. It's a one-liner, but it's probably something that me and you, I don't know if we'd watch. I think we read the synopsis for their first season and we're like, nah, but here it is for this series. A princess held captive, subjected to merciless tortures by the Hell Horde. That's all it is. That's all we get.
Wait, what? Repeat that one more time.
Yeah, a princess held captive, subjected to merciless tortures by the Hell Horde.
What the fuck, bro?
Yeah, bro. I don't know what type of story this is, bro, but I don't know, bro.
It sounds like some like torture shit. What the fuck is going on here? And that synopsis was dog shit. Like, bro, what? Um, I don't know if I really just want to see somebody get beat like that. Not really my cup of tea, you know.
Yeah, I feel you.
What's kind of your thoughts on this, bro?
That's a pass for me unless somebody tells me to watch it. That's usually how these type of series work for me, bro.
Exactly. Yeah, me too.
All right, bro. I think that's gonna wrap it up for this week's episode. Again, y'all make sure you stay tuned for that Thursday episode. You know, we had a guest, my brother, bro, and it was just a cool, fun experience talking about the Red Sox One Piece collab. I thought that was really fun to go to. So it's definitely a fun episode that we did talking about our experiences. So make sure y'all stay tuned for that. If you guys had any comments or anything that you want to talk about on this week's episode, be sure to check out the link in the description with our Discord. Hop in the Discord and we can talk there. We're always available there. But yeah, that's gonna be it for this episode. Hope you guys have a great week, and it's May time, bro. Go outside, enjoy the weather, bro. Till then, you guys have a great one. Peace.
Peace.